Unemployment and poverty has forced many of our people into this life of crime. But as we pointed out a couple of weeks ago, the real criminal is in City Hall downtown. The real criminal is in the State House in Albany. The real criminal is in the White House in Washington, D.C. The real criminal is the white man who poses as a liberal, the political hypocrite. And it is these legal crooks posing as our friends, forcing us into a life of crime, and then using us to spread the white man's evils and vices among our own people. Our people are scientifically maneuvered by the white man into a life of poverty. You're not poor accidentally. He maneuvers you into poverty. You're not ignorant accidentally. He maneuvers you into ignorance. You're not a drug addict accidentally. Why, this white man maneuvers you into drug addiction. You're not a prostitute accidentally. You have been maneuvered into prostitution by the American white man. There is nothing about your and my condition here in America that is an accident. It is part of the scientific method used by the American white man to keep us here in bondage, in ignorance, in poverty, in slavery, 20th century slavery. Because we are forced to live in the poorest section of the city, we attend inferior schools. We have inferior teachers. We get an inferior education. The white power structure downtown makes certain that by the time you and I do graduate, we won't be equipped or qualified for anything but the dirtiest, heaviest, poorest paying jobs that no one else wants. They prepare us for this. We are trapped in a vicious cycle of debt. Inferior jobs, inferior housing, inferior education, which again leads to inferior jobs. We spend a lifetime in this vicious cycle, going in circles, giving birth to children who see no hope or future but to follow in the miserable footsteps of their poverty-stricken parents. We saw no solution to our problem. We saw no real leader among our people. But today the whole world is talking. They're talking about the divine solution that he has received from the God of our forefathers. Not a temporary solution which will benefit only the hand-picked upper-class Negroes, but a solution divinely designed to solve the plight of the black masses permanently and forever. But the government does not want our people to listen and understand the solution that God has given, because the government is against God. I say the government is against God. In order to trick our people away from God's true solution, the government is trying to deceive you with a false solution, a phony solution, a deceitful solution called token integration. Don't you know tokenism is a drag? When you go to the subway for a token, is that token money? No. It's a substitute for money. It's not the real thing. It's a substitute. It's a pacifier. When your baby starts crying at home because it's hungry, and you don't want to give your baby any milk, what do you give it? A pacifier, a substitute, tokenism. And that's the same thing that this blue-eyed white man is tricking you and me with today. He hears you crying out like a baby for freedom and justice and equality. And knowing that he can't give it to you, he sticks a pacifier in your mouth. He gives you tokenism, little crumbs He sticks a couple Negroes in the University of Mississippi and tells you it's integrated. And a couple more in the University of Alabama and tells you it's integrated. And another one in the University of South Carolina and tells you that that's integrated. That's nothing but tokenism. It's nothing but deceit. It's nothing but false maneuvering. And God is going to bring chastisement upon the American white man for tricking the so-called Negroes here in this country. God is after him.
The freedom with some of these. No, this is true. They've always said that I'm anti-white. I'm for anybody who's for freedom. I'm for anybody who's for justice. I'm for anybody who's for equality. I'm not for anybody who tells me to sit around and wait for mine. I'm not for anybody who tells me to turn the other cheek when a cracker is busting up my jaw. I'm not for anybody. I'm not for anybody who tells black people to be nonviolent while nobody is telling white people to be nonviolent. So I just say in my conclusion, I know I'm in the church and I probably shouldn't be talking like this, but Jesus himself, he was ready to turn the synagogue inside out and upside down when things weren't going right. In fact, in the book of Revelation, they got Jesus sitting on a horse with a sword in his hand, getting ready to go into action. But they don't tell you and me about that Jesus. They only tell you and me about that peaceful Jesus. They never let you get down to the end of the book. They keep you up there where everything is, non-violent. No, go read the whole book. And when you get in Revelation, you'll find that even Jesus' patience ran out. And when his patience ran out, he got the whole situation straightened out. He picked up the sword. So, I believe that there are some white people who might be sincere. But I think they should prove it. And you can't prove it to me by singing with me. You can't prove it to me by being nonviolent. No. You can prove it by recognizing the law of justice. And the law of justice is, as you sow, so must you reap. The law of justice is, he who kills by the sword shall be killed by the sword. This is justice. Now, if you are with us, all I say is, make the same kind of contribution with us in our struggle for freedom that all white people have always made when they were struggling for their own freedom. And your freedom was, you were struggling for your freedom in the Revolutionary War. When your own Patrick Henry said liberty or death, and George Washington got the cannons out, and all the rest of them that you taught me to worship as my heroes, they were fighters, they were warriors. But now when the time comes for our freedom, you want to reach back in the bag and grab somebody who's nonviolent and peaceful and forgiving and long-suffering. I don't go for that. No. I say that a black man's freedom is as valuable as a white man's freedom. And I say that a black man has the right to do whatever is necessary to get his freedom that other human beings have done to get their freedom. Just a moment. When I say that you and I will never get our freedom, nonviolently and patiently and lovingly, we will never get it until we'll let the world know that as other human beings have laid down their lives for freedom and also taken life for freedom, that you and I are ready and willing and equipped and qualified to do the same thing. It's a shame that Mrs. Hamer came out here this afternoon where there are so few people. It's a shame. All of our people in Harlem should have heard her describe what they did to her down there. Because I think the people in Harlem are more capable of evening the score than people are anywhere else in this country. People in Harlem, yes they are. And they need to hear her story. They need to know more about firsthand what's happening down there, especially to our women. And then they need some lessons in tactics and strategy on how to get even. And I, for one, will make the first contribution to any fund that's raised for the purpose of evening the score. I, for one, will make the first contribution. Whenever someone commits murder, what do? You put a reward, wanted, dead or alive, for the murderer. Yes, learn how to do it. For we've had 3 people murdered. No reward has been put on the head of the murderer, and don't put it on just a reward, dead or alive. Dead or alive. And let that clan know that we can do it tit for tat. Tit for tat. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you all don't want to do it, we'll do it. We'll do it. We have brothers who are equipped and who are qualified and who are willing to as Jesus said, little children, go ye where I send thee. We have brothers who can do that and who will do that and who are ready to do that. And I say that if the government of the United States cannot bring to justice people who murder Negroes, or people who murder those who are at the forefront, fighting in behalf of Negroes, then it's time for you and me to retire quietly to our closet and devise means and methods of seeing that justice is executed against murderers where justice has not been forthcoming in the past. I say in my conclusion that if you and I, here in Harlem, who form the habit oftentimes of fighting each other, who sneak around trying to wait for an opportunity to throw some acid or some lies on each other, or sprinkle dust at each other's doorstep. If you and I were really and truly for the freedom of our people, all of the energy that we waste thinking of how to do harm for each other, since you have that engine, you know how to do it, let me know. I'll give you some money and show you where to go and show you who to do it to. And then you will go down in history as having done an honorable.
Do you all remember how the preachers preached in 1930? You don't have to put your age in the street, but you remember how they preached. They were ignorant, weren't they? They taught us that hell was someplace down in the ground. Imagine this. Just picture this. It's hard for you to believe it, isn't it? It's hard for you to believe that someone would be dumb enough back then to think that there was a hell in the ground with fire and a devil going to juke you with a fork when you go. You can't picture someone being dumb enough to believe like that, can you? Yes, you can. You believe this yourself. But this is the kind of picture that the preacher gave us of hell. A place that we would die and go to. And somebody with horns and a fork would jug us for the rest of our lives after we was dead. Pick up on that. For the rest of our life after we were dead. Why, it don't even make sense. But we believed it. The fires never went out. And you and I had to tend the fire. We'd be shoveling coal all the time. And here the devil jugging us. Shovel some more. Brother, how ignorant can you get? But this is the picture we had, and this is what we believed in. Then the same old dumb preacher taught us that heaven was the opposite. It was up in the sky. You know what he said? Hell is down there, and heaven is up there. Nothing here now. Everything is there. Down there and up there. Heaven, he said, was when you die and go up there. You wear long white robes and slippers, golden slippers, and a golden crown. What else? Yeah, milk and honey. I know you know what he said. this concept that the preacher had given had the minds of our people in bad shape. But Master Farad taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and thousands of black people in Detroit that ain't no hell up yonder, and no heaven up yonder, and no hell down yonder. There's no heaven up there, and no hell down there. Why, those black people were shook up. Oh yes, they were shook up, because they had paid a price. All their lifetime they had suffered to keep them suffering. Oh yeah, they had suffered at the hands of the white man and took it without fighting back, just so they could keep them having to suffer at the hands of the devil after they died. They had gone without everything. No clothes, no house, no nothing, no gold, no honey, no milk, no nothing, just so they could get some up yonder after they died. And when they found out that they had gone through all this for so long for nothing, I say they were shook up. Yeah, just like some of y'all shook up right now. Tell the truth. Some of y'all still believe that thing yesterday. In fact, some of y'all just come from church. Just a few moments ago, you was trying to make it in. Yeah. I heard you. I'm going there. You just a little while ago talking about yonder, over yonder, but up yonder. Your head is still in bad shape. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Master Farad taught our people, taught him that heaven is a condition and hell is a condition. Right here. He said when you poor, that's hell. When you're hungry, that's hell. When you're dumb, that's hell. You know what hell is. When you don't have rights, that's hell. When you're a slave, that's hell. When you can't find a job because your skin is the wrong color, you're in hell. And the devil is the one giving you hell. He got blue eyes, blonde hair, white skin. You can't deny that. You'd like to deny it, but you can't deny it, because you have caught hell from the white man. You can't deny it. You have caught hell from the white man. I know you'll jump up and say, well, I caught some hell from some Negroes too. That's because they was acting like the white man. They weren't white, were they? But they were acting like the white man.